right now, the words that they're saying is, need to speak to my wife, right? Next step up then, what is the mindset that they're in, or what is the meaning that they assign to those words?
The meaning they assign to it. Um, ooh, that's a good one. Uh, Usually it has to do with their finances. So,
Okay. So
I like
what's the meaning? Let's
maybe
say,
it's irresponsible for me to. I don't know.
there you go. You're
Maybe
getting there.
it's irresponsible for me to not involve her in the decision.
Okay. There we go. Now that I would say irresponsible. I gotta think about how to spell irresponsible for a second. Okay. Irresponsible to not involve wife, right? Something like that. Now,
Well, there's
why
negative
is it?
repercussions.
Yeah,
Negative
why
repercussions.
why is it irresponsible to not involve the wife in their mind?
Uh,
I
just
realize
because
it's
their wife is gonna give them so much shit. Like,
But why is it irresponsible?
Because it's part of their identity. They already believe that all the time.
Bingo. So this now gets into identity and beliefs. What is somebody's view on money and relationships if they believe that it's irresponsible to not involve their wife in this decision? Like, what do they believe about money and relationships?
that if they are in a relationship, then they should both be making decisions about the money.
Okay, there
They
you
should be
go.
making decisions together.
Okay, that could be. Both make decisions together. What else? What do they believe about money specifically? Let's take the relationship side out of it for a second. Let's just talk money.
It's scarce.
Good.
Their beliefs may be that I'm not that good with money.
Okay.
And so
Yep.
I want to, yeah, that is a common theme with them specifically, with the
Good.
avatar.
And then
Bad decisions. So there, yeah.
let's talk relationships now. So we said if you're in a relationship, you should both be making decisions together. What else?
They might be like penalized if they make a decision about money without consulting someone.
Yeah, exactly. It might be like, I care about my spouse and I care about how they feel. And if they feel bad about this, I haven't told them, then, that's just something that can be avoided. Avoid bad spouse feelings. Cool. We'll move on from that. As you guys can imagine, there's probably a bunch of other beliefs that can go here. So I'm just going to put etc. for now. Now, in terms of actions or beliefs, specifically past actions that solidify this belief system or this identity. All these things that we wrote out, have there been past actions that have either rewarded them for this behavior or punished them for not behaving this way? What can you think of may have happened at some point in the past? We're just going to use conjecture at this point because it's going to be different from person to person. But what may have happened in the past that either rewarded them or punished them?
They got burned already.
Good.
Yeah, they chose a company that didn't get them results. That's often what I encounter.
Very good. What else?
If we were to go specific with the partner, it could be that they had actually purchased something before and their wife freaked out and it was an even smaller investment than this.
Good.
Maybe something they purchased in the past did not work out, and without consulting their spouse, they probably had
Very
a
good.
bad situation.
Very good. Yep.
What about like maybe they've never made an investment without consulting the spouse before, so it's just completely foreign to them.
Good. All right, cool. Now I want you guys to notice something here. As we go up this tree, if you will, of least likelihood of truth to most likelihood of truth. Oftentimes, this is going to be fun. A little bit of a satire here, I suppose. Oftentimes, What do people use in order to communicate to you what's happened before in their past?
Stories.
Words. Yeah, yes, they use words, which often make up stories, yes. So this is where the complexity can sometimes come in from sales, is that every time you get to the top, there's this loop that goes back to the bottom. Because if you look at all of these things, got burned in the past. Burned. It's a very visual word, isn't it? It's not like am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, have, has, had, do, does, this, shall, will, should, could, would, may, might, must, can, could. I was seeing if I could remember that from school. Like those have barely any meaning to them. Burned is a very visceral word, is it not? So we come right back up here to words. What do you mean burned? What do you believe actually happened in that experience? Why do you believe you got burned? Actions. So it can be this kind of looping thing until you really get to the root of what's going on. And you might loop on this 4 or 5 times. But it doesn't take much to really get to what's going on, right? Because let's say that we just did this. So we got the wife objection, and we're like, what do you mean you need to go speak with your wife? Oh, well, just want to make a responsible decision. We're a couple. I want to make sure we're, coming together. I want to make sure I involve her. Like, okay, what makes you believe that that's the right next step for you guys? Not saying that I disagree, just curious what you mean. And then they say, oh, well, we both make decisions together because, I'm not super good with money. She's better than I am with money. And, in the past, I've bought some things before without consulting her, and she kind of freaked out a little bit. Oh, well, what happened? Oh, well, yeah, we signed up with this other program. We got burned, didn't get the stuff. She freaked out. It was something we'd never done before, blah, 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 blah. So, like, literally all of this just happened. It's like, okay, well, wait a minute. Freaked out, something brand new, never done it before, burned. We could go down any one of those paths if we wanted to and just restart right from the beginning. Does that make sense? And what we're doing is we're not actually restarting. What we're actually doing, let me see if I can get this. What we're actually doing is we're funneling down. And then, whoop, we're funneling down again. And if I could zoom in again, it's funneling down again and again and again and again until we actually get to the root. Does that make sense? That's all that we're doing with that, is we're just using a repeatable process to go each segment deeper until we get to something that actually has some kind of meaning to it, if that makes sense.
Now, if you're in sales and your income goes up and down like a fucking roller coaster every single month, and it feels like a casino, like you never really know what you're going to make next month, and that anxiety, that stress just gets you, I get that. I have lived that in my entire first year in my career in sales. And I struggled until I figured out that the one skill that I really needed to be successful at sales was adapting my communication and my process to each individual prospect that I ever spoke to. But that took me years and over $1 million invested into coaching and mentorships and learning in order to even figure that out and fully learn it and actually master it. You see, I learned that most average salespeople sell the same exact way to every single person, but the ones who are really successful, the ones who make 30, 40, 50K every month for years on end, actually adapt their process to understand the person who's in front of them and sell to them the way that they want to be sold to. They simply read the person in front of them, they understand how that person thinks, how they buy, how they make decisions, and what they need to hear, in order to do so. And they just simply adapt, and it works every single time. That is what we call adaptive selling. And that is a skill that turns every cold lead into a closed deal. And once I figured that out, I kid you not, my income skyrocketed. It doubled month over month for the next year straight. And that skill is why I created the Black Belt Closer. Here's what some of my students have done with this exact approach. Ahmet went from inconsistent 5K months to over $30,000 in just 20 days of working for a month. Joe went from 10K a month as his top month as a closer to consistently making 30K a month for the next year straight, and then becoming a sales coach and making 80 grand the very next month. Oscar went from inconsistent 5, 6, 7K months, even his top month was a 10K month, to consistent 20K months and even a $32,000 commission month on the way. That was the biggest income month of his entire life. And one of his best friends, Brody, who also signed up, went from, he was doing anywhere between 5 to 15K a month consistently to 25K a month consistently, and his top month being $29.3 thousand in commissions. And he even made upwards of $9,000 in commissions in a single day. Velko is another example. He consistently makes $45,000 to $50,000 every single month and has been for almost the past year. Ethan, same thing. He started with zero sales experience. He was brand new and he went from $0 to $20,000 a month consistently in just a year. And Vince made over $12,300 in commissions in his very first month as a closer, even as a brand new beginner. Renee went from closer to sales manager and even sales director, hitting 20 to 30K months consistently for 6 to 12 months. And these guys and the thousands more that I've coached on this exact adaptive selling system prove that it works. And once you learn it, you can finally stop hoping that the right person just magically shows up on your call, hoping the right person is fed to you like a baby bird from marketing, which, let's be real, can go up and down every single month. You never know what the fuck's gonna happen there. And you can start adapting your process in a way that you know for a fact will work for every single person that you call, every single person that shows up on your meetings, and finally start making consistent money in sales every single month, month after month, year after year, like clockwork. And you can do it no matter what offer you're on, no matter what happens with marketing, and without even having to change your selling style that you're used to, that you've paid thousands of dollars to learn and probably thousands of hours to practice. The freedom that you got into sales for is finally here. Click the link down in the description below in order to see if Black Belt Closer is the right fit for you.